able to stop your horse in any situation is the most important aspect for me in horse riding. In this video I'm going to show you the way I teach my horse to stop reliably in any situation. You will see every step in the training, how to practice it, and I will even show you how to stop your horse without pulling your reins. Now you are going to see a mare, Carrera o Rima, with which I work for a very short time, and she's just learning how to stop. The thing I start with is stopping by pulling the reins and increasing the pressure in a bit. The most important thing to focus on is to pull the reins and increase the pressure very gradually and smoothly. And always, as soon as your horse stops, release the pressure. By being smooth, you will give your horse time to realize what is it that you are asking and do it. It is always the easiest for you and your horse as well to stop from walk. Your horse is most likely to be calm in walk, and he is likely to be receptive to you and to what you want from him. That means that there is the biggest chance for him to do what you want. Also, it's going to be the easiest for the rider as well to be able to apply the correct amounts of pressure and to keep his balance. When my horse stops well when I pull the reins, by which I mean that you don't need large pressure to stop your horse, you can move on to keep improving the way your horse reacts on the pressure while you pull the reins. You can further practice by asking your horse to back up immediately after stopping and backing up around 3 to 4 steps. As I continue with the training, I want my horse to start backing up straight away after I stop. As you can see in slow motion, I start backing up by not releasing the pressure after I stop. I only start smoothly releasing the pressure after my horse backs up at least 2 steps. Then I reward my horse and let him stand for a while so he knows that this is what I wanted him to do. My next step while practicing stopping is to stop from trot by pulling my reins. I will tell you what I focus on during the slow motion shot. The most important thing is to gradually increase the pressure pulling reins more and more. But also it is super important to not increase the pressure after your horse starts doing what you asked. Then, after my horse stops, if I want him to stop, or backs up, if I want him to back up, I immediately release the pressure. It is very important to increase the pressure gradually to give your horse enough time to really realize what's going on and react on it. By increasing the pressure slowly and gradually, you will allow your horse to stop without pulling your reins too much and too quickly and causing pain to your horse even before he really had a chance to realize and to do what you wanted. I am sure you also wouldn't like if your boss at work just slapped you first and then told you what he wants you to be doing. If you want to get your horse's respect and trust, you have to gain it by being sensitive with your horse when he does what you want. However, next important thing is to let your horse know that if you want him to do something, you are able to make him do it. That's because when you look at the horses in the nature, they are always following the lead and trust the strongest one of them. And that's why every horse will test from time to time whether he really has to listen to you. So, when my horse doesn't stop when I start pulling the reins, I keep pulling more and more until he really stops. Now you can see a mare Poco del Susi. She already can stop quite well. Now I would like to show you the difference between a horse that already knows how to stop and a horse that is still learning. You will also see how I get my horse to improve, to react quicker, and on smaller pressure. I will show you how to make your horse stop using his rear legs and react well on the pressure from pulling the reins. As you can see in the video, I can get my horse to stop using his rear legs by backing up immediately after stopping. When done correctly, your horse will have to work with his back and sort of brake using his rear legs. If you want to improve, you have to keep practicing for quite a long time. However, be careful, because if you spend too much time with it every time you go riding on your horse, you might get him a bit annoyed and he might stop trying. I stop from trot around 5 to 6 times every riding session, and even less times I stop from canter, which is actually not even something that I would do every riding session. What I consider important is that I start practicing stopping the most when my horse is already a bit tired and more willing to stop. In this situation, I also reward him with a short break after each stop. This way I can get my horse to look forward to stopping and make him react better. Now you can again see a horse that is just learning to stop. And she doesn't use her little legs enough, and actually she reacts badly on the pressure when I pull the reins. However, that will all change. In the beginning, the most important thing for me is for my horse to stop reliably, and the way he does it can be improved later on. As soon as my horse stops well from trot when I pull the reins, I start teaching him stopping based on pressure in the stirrups. You can see the way I ask my horse to stop in the picture. I don't do anything with my arms, and I increase the pressure in the stirrups forward and down, sort of as if I wanted to brake with my heels. This is the way I ask my horse to stop. You can use the same, or you can come up with something different that will suit you more. However, if you do, you have to make sure that you do it in exactly the same way every time. But let's get back to the beginning. When I ask my horse to stop using the pressure in the stirrups for the first time, he's not going to know what I mean, what I want him to do, and of course he is not going to stop. And that's why, as you can see in slow motion, I stop my horse after approximately 2 seconds by pulling my reins. And as soon as my horse stops, I back up a few steps. This way I basically show my horse that this is what I want from him when I increase the pressure in the stirrups. After I do it a few times, then my horse will sooner or later understand what I want when I increase the pressure in the stirrups. I believe that most of the horses can understand it in just one riding session. However, it is important for your horse to already stop well when you pull the reins before you start practicing this. Then, after my horse can stop based on the pressure in the stirrups, I start teaching him to stop based on my voice, in exactly the same way, which means that I say ho. You can of course say whatever you want, and when your horse doesn't stop, which is of course gonna happen in the beginning, you again back him up a few steps. But of course, if my horse reacts well, I stop him and let him relax for a little bit to reward him. When my horse already stops well based on the pressure in the stirrups in walk, I start practicing the same in trot. I do everything exactly the same way as I did it in walk. I use the same process to correct my horse, and in the same way, if my horse does it well, I reward him by letting him stand still and relax for a little bit. If my horse knows how to stop based on the pressure from pulling reins, then based on the pressure in the stirrups, and after that even just based on my voice, I keep improving the way my horse stops. As I already said, My biggest priority is for my horse to always stop reliably without hesitating, and only after that I can work on further improving the way my horse stops. Sometimes I want my horse to quickly react and stop rapidly when I pull the reins, and some other time I might want my horse to stop very gradually. Then I focus on stopping based on the pressure in the stirrups, and even here I want my horse to start stopping quicker and use his rear legs more while stopping. When my horse doesn't stop as well as I would like, I always start backing up right after stopping. By sometimes asking my horse to stop quickly and some other time more gradually and smoothly, I also work on improving my horse's responsiveness to changes in the amount of pressure that I create. The training is going to become more interesting for your horse, and it will teach him to pay more attention to you and to what you want from him. Stopping from canter is a bit more complicated for your horse than just stopping from trot, especially if you're just starting to work in canter with your horse and he's still not as receptive to your pressure as he could be. And that's why you need to give your horse more time in canter to realize what's going on and what is it that you want. In this stage, I always just gently pull the reins, slow down to trot, and then I ask for a complete stop. However, you can see how I already stopped with my horse straight from canter. What I want to teach my horse now is to come to a complete stop from canter just in a few steps. If you have a calm horse, you need to be rather keeping him in canter other than slowing him down. So slow transition from canter to standstill usually doesn't require much efforts, and sometimes even just relaxing in the saddle as if you already stopped is enough to stop your horse. Most of the calm horses already stop based on just a change in the sitting position and you relaxing in the saddle. However, if it doesn't happen, then of course you just stop your horse by gradually pulling your reins. When my horse reliably stops from canter without me pulling the reins or increasing pressure in the stirrups, because these are the types of pressure that I start using to ask my horse for a rapid stop using his rear legs, I start teaching my horse to not just stop, but to stop quickly using his rear legs. Now you can see in slow motion how I do this kind of stop. Exactly as in walk or trot, also in canter I first start practicing stopping by pulling my reins. With this, it is important to have your arms really under control and to be able to pull the reins gently without using too much force. You don't get your horse to improve by pulling the reins harder, but you achieve it in a way that I already described. And by stopping and then backing up straight away, and also because my horse already stops just based on my voice or pressure in the stirrups, I can quickly start stopping like this even from canter. And the same rules apply as if I did it from trot. If my horse doesn't stop based on the pressure in the stirrups or my voice, I stop him pulling the reins and back up a few steps. Now you are going to see a sliding stop. You need the correct type of surface and correct horseshoes if you want to do it. And if you don't want to be riding reining, then you are never going to need it. But I show it to you so you can see that you don't make your horse stop better by pulling the reins more, but you can get your horse to stop nicely and reliably by continuous training. Of course, when your horse already knows it, the sliding stop can be much longer, and also from faster canter. Just take everything one step at a time. Do you want to stop from trot just based on the pressure in the stirrups? Learn how to do it in walk first. If you continue working and improving, you will achieve what you can see right now. Your horse will stop well from canter on any surface and without you pulling your reins. You will then don't have to think about whether you will be able to stop your horse or not. In the end, let's recap how you should teach your horse to stop. First, you need to teach your horse to stop when you pull your reins, and then to back up after you stop. The next step is that you can stop your horse from trot by pulling your reins. And now let's refresh how I improve the way my horse stops. It's mainly by backing up immediately after stopping and by giving my horse a chance to stop just based on the very small initial pressure. Basically, when I teach my horse to improve the way he stops when I pull the reins, I already also start teaching my horse to stop based on the pressure in the stirrups and my voice. I start teaching it from walk first and then from trot. From canter, I first just teach my horse to stop very gradually, by just relaxing myself in the saddle as if my horse was already stand still. I don't pull the reins and I don't use the pressure in the stirrups. I teach my horse to stop rapidly, first by pulling my reins. However, then I start teaching my horse to do it just based on the pressure in the stirrups or my voice. And I have one last important thing for you. If you want your horse to stop well and reliably, always correct him every time he doesn't stop well considering his current abilities. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video that I'll be sending you in just a few days. But meanwhile, please leave me a comment and let me know how you liked this video. Thanks for watching and see you soon.